Welcome, everyone. Have you ever stopped to wonder why we seem to find our faith in the middle of a crisis, only for it to kind of fade away when things get comfortable again? Well, today we're going to explore that exact question. We're going to dive into a truly remarkable passage from the Quran's chapter of Jonah. These verses, they offer such a profound look into human psychology and, really, the tests we all face.
This question right here, it's really the heart of this entire passage. I think we've all felt this, or at least we've seen it. In those moments of real crisis, we instinctively look for help from a higher power. But then what happens? The sky's clear, life is good, and wow, how quickly do we forget? This text, it just goes so deep into that very human tendency.
So the passage starts off by basically holding up a mirror to some of our most common and often, let's be honest, contradictory behaviors. It acts almost like a diagnostic tool, showing us who we are so we can take a moment and reflect on who we want to be. And what's so fascinating is where it begins, with our own impatience. The text points out that we are so eager for good things, right? But in moments of anger, we might wish for harm on others, or maybe even on ourselves. Now, just imagine for a second if God answered those harmful wishes as quickly as we want our good ones answered. Our time here would be over, just like that. So his delay in acting isn't a weakness, it's a profound mercy. It's what gives us space to breathe, to reflect, and to change. But what about those who don't use that space to reflect? Well, the text uses this incredibly powerful phrase, wandering blindly, to describe people who live as if there's no accountability at all. It says God leaves them in their arrogance, which I know it sounds harsh, but it's actually framed as a purposeful moral test. That delay in consequence allows their choices and their character to fully play out. And this leads us right into a specific psychological pattern that the text diagnoses, something we can call the crisis and comfort cycle. You can almost picture it like a spiritual seesaw that so many of us find ourselves on. And wow, this just illustrates the cycle perfectly. When trouble hits, we suddenly become intensely spiritual. We're calling out to God no matter what we're doing, lying down, sitting, standing. It's this state of urgent, constant prayer. But then, the crisis passes, the problem is gone, and just like that, we carry on as if we never made those desperate pleas. The memory of our need just vanishes along with our trouble. And here's the really crucial part. This pattern, it reinforces itself. The text says this cycle is made pleasing to the al-musrifin, those who go to excess, who cross the line. They get so used to this up and down cycle that their heedlessness actually becomes comfortable. It becomes their default state. It's a really dangerous comfort zone, and the text is suggesting that reality, it will eventually catch up. So now, the text zooms out. It tells us, hey, this isn't just an individual flaw. No, this is a collective pattern that is played out time and time and time again throughout human history. Verse 13 lays out this clear three-act historical drama. First, messengers arrive with clear proofs, with guidance. Second, the communities, they wrongfully and stubbornly reject that guidance. And third, that rejection ultimately leads to their ruin. See, the Quran presents these stories not just as history lessons, but as moral case studies, a warning for all of us who come after. And this history lesson leads us to a really pivotal concept. The text says that we, you and I, have been made khalayif on the earth. This is such a powerful word. It means successors or stewards. It implies that we have inherited the world from those who came before us, and with that inheritance comes a profound moral responsibility. And the purpose of this stewardship? It's stated so directly right here in verse 14. So that we may observe how you will do. I mean, that's the core of it all. Our time here, our power, our resources, it's all a test. The fundamental question being asked of humanity is, given all this responsibility, what are you going to do with it? Will you just repeat the mistakes of the past?
So, how do people typically react when they're confronted with this divine message and its immense responsibility? Well, this next section explores the response of those who say they want the truth, but really only on their own terms.
Their demand, as the text states it, is just incredibly revealing. They basically tell the Prophet Muhammad, look, either bring us a different Quran or just change this one. Think about what that means. This isn't a search for truth. It's a demand to customize it. They want a revelation that suits their own desires, not one that challenges them to change. And the response he's told to give? It's just as clear and direct. The Prophet is instructed to say, "It is not for me to change it myself. I only follow what is revealed to me." This defines the role of a prophet perfectly. Not an author, not an editor, but a faithful transmitter of the divine message. To alter it would be the ultimate act of disobedience.
And then the Quran makes this powerful appeal to their own reason. The Prophet is told to remind them, hey, I lived an entire lifetime among you before this revelation ever came. You know my character. The question it poses is so simple and direct. Then will you not reason? It's asking them to just think logically about where this message is coming from. Is it more reasonable to believe he suddenly invented all of this, or that it's from a divine source?
And this all builds to a very powerful moral verdict. It asks a rhetorical question: who could possibly be more unjust than one of two people? First, someone who invents a lie and then attributes it to God, and second, someone who denies God's clear signs when they arrive. The text labels these actions as the ultimate crime, and it warns that those who do this, they will not succeed. And so here we are, circling right back to the central theme, bringing all these threads together. Our psychology, our history, our response to truth. It all comes down to this test of our stewardship. The passage closes by addressing one last human impulse. That demand for a spectacular sign, a big miracle. But the response shifts our focus entirely. It says the unseen is known only to God. The real test isn't about demanding some kind of magic trick. It's about having the patience to reflect on the signs we've already been given. The prophet is told to say, "So wait. Indeed, I am with you among those who wait." It's a call for a shared, patient reflection. And that leaves us with the final, echoing question. The text tells us we have been placed on this earth as successors, as stewards, to be observed. The history of those who came before us is there as a warning. The psychology of our own hearts has been laid bare. So the question, really, it isn't for them. It's for us, right here, right now. We were made successors, so how will we do?